control program. Sentinel control program I'm going to design using while loop. Now let's see a program using that. Okay, so first of all I'm going to introduce some variable integer age, and here what we are going to do is we are going to get some input of age from users, and then we are going to calculate the average age. At the same time we are going to calculate number of people entered as well. So to do that, first I'm introducing a variable called integer age, and then another variable called age total, that is equal to 0. First I'm equating it to 0, and then I'm gonna introduce an integer called number of people entered, number of people entered. Okay, no space. Let's make this one capital. Okay, number of people entered, and I'm gonna equate that one to 0. Okay, now we have some variable introduced. First I'm gonna give a prompt to the user, so user is gonna see this and enter something. So to do that, first I'm gonna give a prompt to the user. Here I'm gonna say enter first person's age, enter first person's age, or -1 to quit, and then that's going to be the prompt, and then I'm gonna write end line. So here you can see I put -1 to quit. The reason I put -1 to quit is because the age cannot be negative number, so we can use minus any number to quit. And also there's something you need in order to stop while loop. Here, since we are using while loop is like it's going to keep on running until you make the while loop false statement. Like the while loop, like if you watch my last video, you know that in while loop we will have a test inside of the curly bracket, and then if the test is true, then while loop is going to keep on running the code entered within the body. So we have to make the test false at some point in order to stop the while loop. That's why we put a -1. We are going to put a test inside here that will make the while loop false when -1 entered. That's why we have a -1 to quit. Okay, now we are going to see how to create that. To make this one false when the -1 entered, what you have to do is you can just type age that is not equal to -1. So when someone enter if the user enter -1, this test become false because -1 is not equal to -1. That's a false statement. So that's gonna make this test false, and then while loop stops right there. That's why we introduce this one right here. Okay, now inside of this while loop we are going to do some calculations. What calculation we are going to do? We are going to calculate age total, because if I want to calculate average age, we need the age total first, then we divide number of people entered. That's gonna give the average age. So age total, how to calculate the age total? Initially we introduced that one with 0. So and whenever here we are going to prompt this one to the user, and also we are going to get the input from the user. To get the input, I put C in age right here, and whatever the user input, that's going to be the age. And then age total is basically it's going to start with 0, and whenever the user enters something, it's going to bring that one and add it right here. So to do that, we're going to do a calculation plus age total plus age total plus age. Okay, so it's going to be 0 plus whatever the number user enter, and once it completed, that's it. Now in the outside we are gonna write something. In the outside, let's we can calculate number of people entered, also the average age. So to print out number of people entered, I put C out, then number of people entered, number of people entered, okay, and then I put this one and then leave a space. Okay, here I'm gonna print the variable number of people entered here, okay, this one, and yeah, end line. Then we are going to put another statement that average age and average age can be calculated using this formula, that is okay, average age can be calculated using this formula, like age total. If you calculate age total, like each time the person enter age is gonna do the addition with total, so we are gonna get total age, and then if you divide this one with number of people, you're gonna get average age. So number of people entered, and that's basically it. And then we can put an end line and run this code and see if we are getting any error. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this one, build and run. Okay, so here we are getting enter first person's age. I'm gonna type something simple so we can see if there's any error in the code. So I'm gonna put like 10. Okay, so enter the first person. Okay, you know what? So we have to keep on asking this question again and again. So in order for that to happen, we have to have this same statement inside of this while loop as well, because if we want to get it again and again and again, that only happened within the loop. This one only happens for the first time, then it goes to the while loop. Then once it goes to the while loop, unless this test become wrong, it never exits the while loop. So if we want to get if we want this one to ask the age again, it has to happen within the while loop, because then only we can get it repeatedly on the screen. So I'm gonna write the cout statement inside of this while loop as well. So I put here, and to be constantly getting the input from the user, you have to put that one in the while loop as well. So I put C in statement, and again same as this one, age. Okay, so here you can see this one. First we have introduced the variable called age, then we introduced the variable called age is equal to age total is equal to 0, and then another variable we introduced number of people entered. Okay, we introduced 3 variables, and first we are prompting a statement to the user to enter something. So here enter the person's age, and the user is going to enter the age. Once the age is entered, now we are going to the while loop. And while loop, it checks when the user enter age, and it checks is it equal to -1. When it become equal to -1, this while loop is finished, because if the test is false, while loop is not going to work. So when people are entering the real age, it means it's not going to be -1, right? Age is always positive number, so the while loop is going to work, and then whatever the age he enter is going to add with age total. Age total initially start with 0, and when the age is entered, it's gonna be plus that one. Like for example, if the user entered 10, if the user is 10 years old and if he's entering 10, it's gonna be 0 plus 10, and the age total become 10. And after it happens, it's gonna ask again, enter the person's age or -1 to quit. So user can enter another age, like he can enter 20, because this is a prompt, and here we have a prompt to the user, and user can put the input. Why we have the input again here? Because once the code enter the while loop, it never exit unless this this test is wrong, this test is false. So in order for the user to enter again, you have to have that one within the while loop. So it keep on happening until the user enter -1. If the user enter -1, that's the only time this while loop ends right there, because this test is false. So once it's entered, it's gonna go to this one. Now it's gonna calculate number of people entered, and then it's gonna calculate the average age as well. Okay, now here you can see number of people entered. How does that one change? We don't have any code for that. So in order to make that one change, I have to write a code right here. Number of people entered. So this is the variable we introduce. So plus plus. So plus plus is increment by 1. Increment by 1. Why? Because you see, how does this code work? So first someone is going to enter, like for example, let's say someone entered a number age 10. So it's going to go to the while loop, and now it counts the 10 as also 1. Because if you put this one below, like let's say you put this code after this, then you miss the first one, right? That's why I put above this statement, because we want the first one to be counted as well. So make sure you're putting it above, and if you put below, the first one is going to be missed. So, or you can start with, like if you're starting with 1, you can skip that and put it below, but if you're starting with 0, you have to put it above right here. Okay, and that's it. And now we can calculate number of people entered, and then average age is basically age total, that is automatically calculating here. Each time the person is entering an age is gonna total this one with this one. Okay, now we can go ahead and run this one and see if it works properly. So build and run, and here enter first person's age or quit. So I'm gonna enter 10, and once I enter 10, it's asked enter the oh shit, okay, I have to change this code again. Enter another person's age, I have to put, or next person. Okay, because first is only for this one, and when we run again, we don't want the first again, right? So I'm gonna quit this, run again, build and run, enter the first person's age or -1 to quit. I'm gonna put 10, and then oh shit, okay, I'm gonna put another number 20, 30. Let's do this one, like let's do only 3, because we want to see if we are getting an error or something. So I put -1 is gonna quit the while loop. So once it's done, now you can see number of people entered 3, and average is just 20. Like 10 plus 20 is 30, 30 plus 30 60, 60 divided by 3, that is 20. So that's perfect. Now you are not limited to 3, you can do infinite amount of time. You can do 5, 6, 7, like you can do random numbers. 56, let's put some random number. 56, 78, 25, 48, and then 56, and let's calculate this on -1, and you can see 5 people entered, and it calculated it added all of them, and then divided this one, that's 52. And one thing you have to remember, like when we are doing division in the programming, it's not going to calculate the decimal points. You can see the reminder if you want. For that one, that's a different equation. Like you have to put the percentage sign to see the reminder. That will only show the reminder, but without decimal it will show the average age. Okay, and that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys on my next video.